Welcome to another edition of the replay where we try to make your day. I'm your host, Jabril Rashad, and I want you all to hit that subscribe, like, and share button for me. You know, we're still growing the channel. Want to welcome everybody in this evening, and we got a lot of things we're going to cover. But before we do all of that, I want to make sure I bring my guy to the stage, none other than Mr. Darrell Alexander the Great. He is back with us today.
What's up, people?
What's up, Doc? You good?
Yeah, man. What's going on?
Oh man, another day, another beautiful day, another beautiful day, man, to be thankful for. We got our brother TJ Action Jackson. He'll be joining us a little bit later. And of course, you know, Book is always lurking in the back. He's working with those kids in that track meet, man, over there in DeSoto. So we're going to send him a big shout out. So, DA, we got quite a bit to cover, man. So we're going to go ahead and get into this thing real quick, man, because there's a lot been going on. I've been going back and forth exactly how we should start this whole evening, but I'm gonna go with what's been trending, what's been out there, man. You know what's been going on in the news. You know you've heard it, I've heard it. It's a lot going on, man, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna share this video right off the bat so everybody can understand exactly where we're gonna be going this evening with this conversation. We're gonna start with the culture part first, but check this out, though, Da.
Yeah.
One day after Fox 11 News was the first to bring you exclusive footage of heavily armed federal agents raiding the homes of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Agents going room to room seizing evidence for their case, as seen here in this TMZ video, even detaining Diddy's sons.
There's 3 people right there that were taken into custody.
Diddy's attorney issued a long statement that says in part, quote, "Yesterday, there was a gross overuse of military-level force as search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' residences. There is no excuse for the excessive show of force and hostility exhibited by authorities or the way his children and employees were treated. Mr. Combs was never detained but spoke to and cooperated with authorities. Despite media speculation, neither Mr. Combs nor any of his family members have been arrested, nor has their ability to travel been restricted in any way," unquote. But former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani believes an arrest is just a matter of time.
Diddy is in a world of hurt. He's being prosecuted likely by the most prestigious prosecution office in the country in the Southern District of New York. And a federal judge had to sign off on not 1, but 2 search warrants of his homes in Los Angeles and Miami. And of course, we know that there are several civil lawsuits against him. And when there's smoke, there's fire.
In the latest lawsuit filed by music producer Rodney Little Rod Jones, Diddy is accused of sexual assault, sex trafficking, and drugging underage girls. The lawsuit also names other celebrities like Cuba Gooding Jr. This photograph was included in the complaint, and Jones alleges the Oscar-winning actor was sexually harassing him. How damaging is this for all of those celebrities who are mentioned in this lawsuit?
Very damaging. And this may end up being a Jeffrey Epstein type situation. Diddy is a rich and powerful celebrity who rubs shoulders with other celebrities. So their reputations may be tarnished just by being friends with Diddy or being at his home or his other events. And if they actually participated in this sexual activity, like some of these lawsuits allege, they too may be charged in an indictment.
But Combs' attorney says, quote, "This unprecedented ambush, paired with an advanced coordinated media presence, leads to a premature rush to judgment of Mr. Combs and is nothing more than a witch hunt based on meritless accusations made in civil lawsuits. There has been no finding of criminal or civil liability with any of these allegations. Mr. Combs is innocent and will continue to fight every single day to clear his name."
I think this statement's interesting because first he was saying it was a shakedown, that these people were coming for money, and now he's saying it's a witch hunt. It really just feels like he's pulling every buzzword of someone who's been canceled.
Andy Signor, host of Popcorn Planet, a pop culture show on YouTube, says the internet can't get enough of this case, and people are hungry for justice.
I think people don't like, powerful people getting away with things. And I think this is an example of someone who's starting to smell a little fishy. and people are sick of it. You know, a lot of people are struggling out there. They're trying to figure out how to pay the rent. And this billionaire is now declaring a witch hunt. Sorry, we're not buying it.
DA.
You got to go first, man.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. It's a lot to unpack. And the more and more I think about it, the more and more I find myself, you know, I'm kind of here and I'm kind of there.
Yeah.
You know, there's no straight across the board for it, you know, because on one hand, I totally agree. And I even said it prior to even seeing this on the video with TMZ. It was overkill in terms of what they did. They actually brought out tactical tank trucks. You understand? I mean, we're talking about militia groups, man. That's Army Reserve. That's supposed to be preserved for Homeland Security. I know, understand that it was a Homeland Security type of scrutiny, but to put those many man hours to put his kids in handcuffs when you don't have all this is just allegations. It's all allegation. I know what they say. Usually, where there's smoke, there's fire. This is the reason why I kind of fan the flames. To cool it down, not to speed it up, because I'm not gonna be the one to just, you know, rally and say, you know, oh, they got him, because a lot of people that's doing a lot of talking is really against P. Diddy, and I've heard a lot, and I'm not one here to wave the fan or the flag for Sean Puffy Combs. Definitely not doing that, because I do believe in the scriptures when it talks about that every human being will be tried and tested at least once or twice throughout the year. I think throughout the course of his life, living that narcissistic type lifestyle, he's put himself in a position.
Yeah,
he's been given an opportunity to prove to God time and time again that, you know, I'm a humble servant. I can do more. But you created an environment of hedonism with all these chief pleasure principles that you had going on, and now it's time to pay the piper, as they say.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things, a lot of moving, you know, components with this, man. But let's see if we can't sort this out, because I'm going to address P. Diddy, the man, the person. But first, I want to address the overkill in what we saw and witnessed throughout the media.
Yeah.
Again, God dislikes scandal or scandalism, if you will. When you overly publicize or do something without ascertaining all of the information first and foremost, right? This is called a gleaning process. So yes, you supposed to piecemeal this thing together like they did that. Okay, fine. You went and got a search warrant. These are the allegations in theory of what you're saying. But no one has been arrested. No indictment has been filed yet. And I do put yet, because I'm basing this on experience now, not from what I've read. I'm talking about personal experience now. Anytime they put out those kind of man hours to do what they did, not hit just one property, but to hit multiple properties. Anytime that you see something like that and money's being spent like that, they're coming with something. But here's the thing, it's a tactic. It is a strategy that they oftentimes use, putting them in the handcuffs, because what they really want to do is justify to the American people, hey, we got something here. But it's another strategy or a tactic to say to the people that are the individuals whom they're targeting, to be able to say, okay, let's see how they're going to respond now, because it's a little bit of that the nervousness aspect of it, when people start to want to just rattle off and start to talk. You understand? So this is what I think is being playing out in front of the public as we speak right now. But just based on experience and what I've been able to see, when they have that kind of manpower, at some point an indictment gonna come down.
Yes,
he's definitely a target.
Yes,
he's definitely a target. Now, how he spin that web and get out of that situation, it's gonna be totally, I think, up to his attorneys first and foremost. But his disposition gonna have a lot to do with it. And the reason why I'm using the word disposition, because I'm also reminded by scripture when God said that every human being acts according to his or her own disposition. So if his faith is low, and we're gonna get into some a second ago. I'm gonna play something by his ex-bodyguard. That's people having people questioning his state of mind right now. But if his faith is not strengthened, if it's not built up, when something like this of this magnitude happens, a lot of people can't handle this. As you heard them say, they're talking about, is this the Jeffrey Epstein type situation? You know, and if it is, we all know what happened to Jeffrey Epstein. Because when you start opening up Pandora's box, you don't really know what's inside that box. There may be a lot of goblins, spirits, or whatever you want to call it, may be inside that box with other names, as you heard, other celebrities, right? Names are being already mentioned. Yeah. And this was based on a silver suit, DA. Yeah, already being mentioned. So you don't know what's inside of that box. This is the equivalent of a Jeffrey Epstein type, situation. So P. Diddy, he's gonna have to, man, only. And this is again, I'm just in the spirit in the month of Ramadan. I'm in the spirit of quoting the scriptures where the law says in the Quran that when trouble touches a man, he lies on all sides, crying out for help. But as soon as God removes that from him, he goes on his very way as if he never called on God at all. Now that's powerful. Yeah. You see, now he has to get into the mercy part of this thing. And the only person can give him mercy, bro, is going to be the Most High God. Period. Right. That's the only one that'll be able to get him out of this situation. Because believe me, he's in a real entanglement. You understand? He's in a real entanglement. But I have a little bit more to elaborate on that, man. I'll just go ahead and come to you on that and see what your take is.
Man, I can't see where I disagree with you at all, because I hadn't even usually when stuff hits like this, I never really you'll hardly ever see me on social media talking about it, because I always like to let stuff settle, see what falls out, what part of this is true, or did they really get him? I don't just go by what people say. And I ain't, no matter how I feel one way or another, I'm not about to be out there either throwing stones at him or professing his innocence, because you got to think about those who may have been victims. You can't just go out there because he P. Diddy. Oh man, he ain't doing it. They just, when you do that, you kind of minimizing the emotions of some of these people who have testified through the years that he did this and he did that. So what I feel is exactly how you feel. I ain't out there trying to, I ain't gonna ever celebrate a man doing whatever. I mean, that's his life. God is dealing with him on his life for some things that, and this is a situation where I can't even just say, man, I don't know if I feel like it's true, because these allegations have been going for years and even decades, and so many different people have been saying it. It's just, and I think by nothing being done way back then, I think more and more he may have thought that I'm maybe untouchable, at this moment. Like, I got away with a lot, and I still get away with a lot. And it's just been so many eyewitnesses to certain things. I mean, I'm talking about not even hearsay. It's like, man, I was there when this dude did that. He's even on tape. He did the interview on the Breakfast Club, and they pulled up the recording of him saying, making these odd comments to these guys in this little gathering. And he was like, who is that? And they looked at him and laughed. And they was like, that's you, talking about this man and talking that way to this man. Like, it's a man on woman situation. So, so it's so much, man. And I've always thought he was arrogant, even before all of this. I never really took to him, because my spirit don't really mesh with people like that. Right. That kind of arrogance, I'm like, okay, he cool, but that ain't me. I don't want to be around nobody like that. I don't like people like that. So I just like, oh, P did, he talented with whatever he's doing. But for the most part, Jabril, like you said, indictment is coming. It was way too much force. The show of force was way. I was like, Do they think he got somebody hostage right now? Like they going
Right.
in, like they
Right.
heard he got somebody in the basement or down in the
Right.
tunnels they talking about. I'm
Right.
like, come on, man, that's way overkill for you looking for some videos and stuff like that, and you gonna go in there and jack this man, kids and staff up like that over these allegations? Come on, it didn't even make sense. But you know, it's one thing I can say, man. It does not matter if they'll do it to Bill Cosby, if they'll do it to Michael Jackson. Ain't nobody above it. Michael Jackson was the king of pop.
Right.
Like the whole world considered him the king of pop. Bill Cosby was America's favorite dad for a decade or so. If they can do it to those guys, nobody should think they're above it. Like you just gotta, man. And I was thinking, all of this stuff that went down, I guarantee you, there are a whole bunch of celebrities who have changed the way they roll since this all this Puff Daddy stuff. Like you throwing these wild parties and you thinking it's just cool to do whatever you want and drug young ladies, and it ain't like that no more, man. You if you were fortunate or blessed enough to have done that and say, Lord, please, just if you just don't come for me, I swear I'm gonna change. I swear I'm gonna do better. Just let that be it.
Right.
And I guarantee you, I never throw nothing, no sinister Sodom and Gomorrah type atmospheres. I wouldn't never be around nothing like that. But to sum it up, man, it's coming, Jabril, and sad to say, he built this house brick by brick.
Mm-hmm.
And now that the house that he's created it's done. It's like, man, this is your house. Now you got to live in your house.
Right.
You built this house, now you're gonna have to live in it, regardless of how much force we showed, regardless of what people think is too much. All that means nothing when we finally, and they're gonna come with the indictments, like you said. They not gonna waste all that manpower, 2 different states, coast to coast. They're gonna be like, oh no,
actually, I think, yeah,
they already got what they need. They just probably look for other stuff to support it, I think.
Well, I think, and I agree with you totally, DA. I think a lot of it centers around sensationalism now, because it's kind of two things when they come at individuals like this that's supposed to be self-proclaimed, having this star power. It's like they're showing not only the individual, but they want to show the world. See, there's a verse where it talks about bringing them before the people. If you flog them for a crime that has been committed, bring them before the people. This is what they used to do in servitude slavery, right? They would take a slave, hang him up, and bring out all the slaves, and they would flog him, right? Yeah. So they were making an example out of it for the other slave. Here, this is what you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
See, Diddy obviously didn't get the memo, because the verses are so clear in Scripture. When it talks about when God has blessed you to come away from a situation, he's giving you the mercy now. So he's clear when he says, if you go back to your sinning, we go back to our punishment. See, you go back to your sinning, we go back to our punishment. And you will never win that race. Right. So like you were saying, it's like nobody is exempt, because they've made examples out of Jeffrey Epstein. They made example out of I forget the producer in Hollywood.
That was
Harvey Weinstein, I think. Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, they made an example out of him, like you just stated. They made an example out of Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, and now it's time for P. Diddy to sit in that chair. So again, what if you're, and I'm gonna use this as a metaphor, DA. When you get inside your vehicle, there's there's 2 letters when you look at your gas hand. One is gonna say E, and the other opposite is gonna say F. I'm gonna use the E for evil and the F for faith. Okay.
Yeah.
When you get inside your vehicle, if you didn't fill your car up, at some point, if you bag out of the driveway or you down the highway, it's gonna run out of gas at some point.
Yeah.
It's gonna be on empty. Well, let's put that into spiritual concepts. That E representing evil. Now you got to fill up on faith.
Yeah.
because that's the only vehicle that's going to advance you down the highway.
Yeah.
When the horn blows, right? See, people think it's just a horn that's going to blow out of the sky. Man, that's spookism. That's spookism. This horn is going to sound off like a bell inside your head. When you're confronted with your own personal situation, you're going to hear a sound. And it's going to be so evident, clear to you, crystal clear. That's why sometimes in some of my posts, I always say truth sounds like a golden trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
Because truth, by its very nature, falsehood will perish when truth arises. If you hurl truth at the falsehood, it's going to fall.
Yeah.
It's going to perish. It's going to knock out the brains of falsehood. So what's happening right now, he's created a false life.
Yeah,
and
man.
the reason why he's created the false life is because he made a connection with the very open avowed enemy to us all, which is Shaitan, Satan.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you make an agreement, these material corporate Illuminati, whatever language you want to use, these type of, which is nothing but a group of wealthy bankers who sit inside of a inner circle of a think tank, and they move certain things from behind the scenes. And you make an agreement with them, like he wanted to sue the liquor company. There are people, you got a lawsuit. Look at the pattern. Michael Jackson, who was he trying to sue? Sony, right? Bill Cosby trying to sue who? By what? Universal Studios. Come on, stay with me. All these individuals had something that they was trying to assert, that they thought they had some legal right. Let me tell you, when you're trying to reclaim music, they call them masters. They call them masters for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to understand who's controlling the narrative. And
Yeah.
Diddy, like many celebrities, man, who are not equally intellectually inclined or have the capacity to really figure out what's going on in this system, they lose sight of what's really happening, and then they start feeling themselves. You know how the song say, I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. So now what Shaitan does, he starts to build up that inner spirit, that ego that I talked about before. That ego, it starts to be risen. And you can't see, you become blinded, drunk off your own success.
Yeah.
So now what's happening, I haven't seen the video, but they was talking about a video. You may have seen a video where he was at the airport and he was just, going back and forth, pacing back and forth. And
now you had it, you showed it.
Oh, that was the one that was by the car?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought that was still at the residence. Okay. Well, because now again, your conscious thought is playing out in the public view. It's no longer addressed in your subconscious thinking. Now you're confronted by the very thing that God speaks to. See, this life, man, is very alluring. It's very alluring.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of deceptions to it. Because it's just like, when Jesus fasted in the wilderness and Satan was tempting him with all these material things. It's fool's gold. It's fool's gold. And it's unfortunate, man, that P. Diddy, after that situation happened with, years ago with him and Jennifer Lopez, and Shine took the fall for that. Mm-hmm. But you still don't learn. So This is the part that I'm talking about.
Actually got worse.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the part that I'm talking about. There's levels to it, because I'm not here to support wrongful conduct. Because like you said, if all the allegations are true, there's victims on the other side of this. Yeah. And sometimes when people are so minuscule or so vulnerable, man, they just don't come out and talk about the things they really should be talking about, because no one should fear nothing or no one except God Almighty, the Most High God, the one God. I feel like if something is happening to individuals, man, you have to come out and speak about it.
Yeah, man.
But if you don't, even if you don't, and I'll come to you on this, dear, because even if you don't, God will speak out. He'll make a way.
Yeah. For
certain events to happen, and then it'll get exposed anyway. So what's done in the dark will truly come to the light. But you say what?
I say that's why it was the first thing I said. I don't just jump out there saying, oh, they railroad him, it's racism. We know we have racism in the world. We know it exists. We know it truly exists in America. We know that if it were Jeffrey Epstein, I don't remember if they ever raided his home. It may have been where they didn't use half of that force. They may not have even used any military that part. Two things can be true. It can be true that they use way too much force. It also can be true that this dude probably is about to deal with, and what's the scary part about it is, Jabril, is this stuff has been happening for so long until it's like they're gonna come at you in so many different ways because of it's so he's done so many things. I guarantee you he can't even remember a third of the quarter. He didn't even remember that was him on that video. Like they talk about how at his parties the people are so drugged up and drunk and high that he didn't even remember. He heard that was his voice on that recording,
but don't
but I
remember.
guarantee you his brain was saying, he was like, he heard that was his voice, and he was like, what is that? They was like, they started laughing. They was like, that's you. And he was like, huh? They was like, yeah, that's you on recording talking to so-and-so, whoever the guy he was talking to. So it's like when they get to that state of mind, I can tell you it's been so many things that he ain't gonna ever even remember, but he probably got 100 witnesses ready to come out and say, yep, I remember when we were at this party and he drugged my friend and he drugged these two guys and he was urinating in their mouths and all that kind of stuff. It's like, man, come on, what? Who stands by? But you've had people who stood up and said things and people just swept it under the rug. Like,
yeah,
they probably just trying to get some money.
But BA, real quick, you know they arrested the young guy that's supposed to be, they call him his mule, Brendan Paul, 25-year-old young white male named
Brendan. I saw
Paul.
that.
Yeah. And you know, because it ain't just gotta be cocaine or marijuana or whatever. They talking about them ecstasy pills. And you can't convince me, especially being in Miami. Miami probably is the capitalism of ecstasy.
Jabril, they got pretty much all they need to even go there and they knew this was gonna be a worldwide story.
Yep.
When they knocked on that door.
Yep.
So they don't care what nobody have to say. They got what they need to proceed.
Yep. Well, I want to go to his this is his bodyguard, ex-bodyguard, should I say, Gene Deal. Yeah. Actually, I know Gene personally, man. I met him. DA, I don't know if you remember my good friend, my brother from St. Louis, Willie Drake, that comes on with us sometimes. Yeah. That's his brother. That's actually his brother.
Is it?
Yeah, that's actually his brother. That's how I met him.
Oh, wow. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, man. And I didn't know. Let me tell you, when I met Gene in 2003 or 4. Because I had gone to St. Louis. There was a time I would go to St. Louis, man, starting from 1991, at least once a year, hanging with, AB, man, Anthony Bonner. My people down there. But I met Gene back then. And I remember this guy was telling us stuff. He was talking about stuff that had so much information, right? I'm looking at this dude like, hey, this your brother? He said, yeah, they got the same dad, different mom. Let me just say that. But Gene is actually from St. Louis. Yeah, he's originally from St. Louis. But P did his bodyguard for a while, and he explained why he had to leave that association for some stuff that happened at a concert they did at City College. But he has his story too. But he's talking about it, man. I want to play a little clip of what he's talking about too.
Video that went viral of Diddy pacing around the airport after his houses got raided? I seen that video. And I seen that look in his face before. You understand? When he was with the same gang and Mike Owens, aka Mike Cock, everybody could tell it, D-Ferg did a collection for him because he didn't know how he was going to pay his rent. And he didn't know how he was going to pay his rent, child support, and his car note, because he had one of those drop-top Cabarets Volkswagens. So Mike gave $5,000. I wasn't giving him nothing. I'm just telling you right now. D was just collecting money for niggas. You know what I'm saying? Yo, man, we got to make sure, because he want to kill himself. He going to kill himself. Diddy had that pace. And he had that look in his face that he know something may be wrong, or they may have something on him. Because they took things out of there. We may not have seen what they took, but they had bags and boxes of stuff that they took out of there. So he knows. He's getting a play-by-play of what's going on. And even back then, doing that City College, when he was fired from Uptown Records, he was making statements about doing himself.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, DA, and I was thinking about when he was saying that, going back to when I was talking about filling up on faith, right? Because this is where it gets a little tricky, right? Because we got to learn, and not like you stated earlier, don't laugh at someone else's demise, because God will put you in that seat, in that hot seat. Because the pendulum will swing, it goes back and forth. Okay, so varying fortunes time and time again do God gives to men, mankind, women and men. And you may be thinking you riding high one day, but then that pendulum was swinging and you be sitting in that chair the next day. I'm real careful, man, like you stated earlier, with how I try and critique something, man, because again, I've had my own dealings with these individuals, man. You understand? And when you're successful and you're on the road to successful, everybody's not your friend, as the song say. You know, people that sit there, pat you on the back, shake your hand, laugh in your face, and tell you how good you're doing, they're all it's all a lie, man. Because a pair of lips will say anything. I'm big on that. A pair of lips will say anything. So again, I don't know what all they pulled out of the house. I don't know what's being said amongst public officials, legal people. I don't know what's been said regarding prosecutors or his legal team. We don't know that right now. But you can rest for sure that they probably don't put information in front of a grand jury to see if they can go ahead and get that indictment, because all this other stuff is just a dog and a pony show. Like I said, that's for public viewing, to kind of just let the people know. But just to show you real quick, TMZ went in, well, I guess it's TMZ. I see the watermark on it, so excuse me for that. But they went inside the house, man, and this was kind of, you know, the thing that they did. I mean, they was really, really grasping for straws, man, looking for stuff, whatever they can find. Like you said, DA, there's no telling what else they done came up with if it was a surprise raid, because he don't know when it's gonna come down unless he got privileged inside information. But look at this. This is all in the bedrooms and the shoes, and this is another sign to me. You see all the clothes and all of the material stuff. Some of that stuff you would never probably wear in a lifetime. And it just makes me wonder, man, like how much do we really need? Because that's gross materialism is what we call it, gross materialism. I'm not knocking him for having it. I'm just simply saying this situation it should humble him. It should humble him to the point to where if God do bless him to get past it, man, there's no way you can come out of this and not turn your life over. Look at the bedroom, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's and it don't look it's just the fact that the real is he just got so many people who have testified to so many things. That's the scary part about it. It ain't a one or two people saying this. You know, it's 50 people saying the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's 50, maybe more, that have said, yeah, I remember the one I was at. They were doing this to these dudes. I remember the one. Yeah, I went one. That's why I used to always leave early. You know, you had Luke out there saying, man, I would always leave because they, you know, they just get turned up too. They just get too turned up.
Right. Well, having said that, though, and looking at everything, I have to pose this question, man. I just thought about it in my mind, but I want to know, and y'all can comment in the chat, tell me what you all think. You know, give me your. I want to hear from you guys that's out there that's watching the program this evening. I want to know, man, just from you. Do you think P. Diddy is really Kiddy? that's what I had to come up with.
Is really what?
Is P. Diddy really Kiddy? Is he messing with young kids? That's basically what I'm saying. Is P. Diddy really Kiddy? Is he really messing with the kids? I mean, they talking about underage girls and human sex trafficking, and
I wouldn't put him. I haven't heard much of him in the same class as R. Kelly, where R. Kelly is at the junior high schools. He's, you know what I mean? He's going to the junior high schools looking for girls and that type stuff. The 13s and the 14s. I think P. Diddy may have been more of a get them when they ride around the, you know what I mean? The 16, it may be a year or so, borderline type. I ain't never really heard a lot about him messing with really young girls. But I mean, that may come out. That may be something that comes out.
That's why I was waiting. I was going to wait.
That may be something major that's going to hit. And then we will know. Like right now, I don't know, but I've heard that they got some allegations.
But see, when if we compare, we're gonna try to compare apples to apples, right? We think about P. Diddy versus R. Kelly. R. Kelly, having a an educational he was defeated intellectually. Let's put it like that.
Yes,
We know he didn't have the the lack thereof, the capacity, man, to really absorb certain things. He was acting on a real his reading levels. I don't know exactly what they were, but his reading level was like on a 4th or 5th grade level, right?
Yeah.
And you can see based upon his behavior and his behavior patterns, the Aaliyahs, God rest her soul, and so many others, that there was a incline of behavior that deviated from what we would deem as supposed to have been a mature or mature person.
Yeah.
Diddy, on the other hand, he can't. I don't think he would be able to use that as an excuse or a reason, because he had the Kim Porters, right? And of course, remember now, what's her name that he was with for so long that just got to file, Cassie.
Yeah.
I think she was around about 16, if I'm not mistaken, when he first met Cassie. I'm not 100% sure, but I think she was a teenager, something to that effect. So what I'm just basically saying is, at a lot of these parties, man, it's like when they put in an indictment, you know what they put in an indictment to cover? I'm talking about to cover all of their bases. They'll put in there known and unknown. That means if you didn't know, you should have known.
Yeah.
Because they said you held this party at this property at such and such address in Miami. Do you or do you not live here? And you know how we go back and forth? Sometimes we're dialoguing, debating about something. It don't work that way in the court system. They're going to ask you a question. You either say yes or no to it. And if you don't answer it, they're going to say, Your Honor, he's being non-responsive. Your Honor, she's being non-responsive. So you don't go back and let you argue back and forth like that.
Right.
It's either did you live here or did you not?
Right.
You see? And like you said, there's so much information. We don't even know what's going to really come out, because I was really surprised, again, based on the young Brendan Paul, the white guy, who they call a mule, that he was running, also allegedly running ecstasy pills for Diddy. Now, why would a billionaire even see? That's when you really have to have lost your way. That's when you really have these. You have to be really materially drunk on your own success to be a billionaire, and then you still playing over here in this game.
What like why?
Yeah, why?
Why? Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But again, I asked the question. I asked the question in the chat, man. I asked the question, man. Hey, is Diddy really Kiddy? Because if you say that he's not, I'm gonna hold mine until all the information come out, because when they unleash that indictment, it's gonna say what it's gonna say.
I can tell you this, Jabril. There will be. Check this out. If I were in a court of law and I'm sitting up there testifying for you, Jabril Rashad, and somebody said to me, Jabril, we have reason to believe that Jabril Rashad did the XYZ. I might say, that is a lie. I know this dude. I know he ain't did X, Y, and Z. He might have did A, but he didn't do X, Y, Z. When it comes
Right.
to this case and P. Diddy, ain't no way in the world, nothing they can say would make me say, I know he didn't do this, because I don't put anything past him. When they talk about some of the things and some of the just how out of their mind they were, his parties were, how out of control they were. There is nothing they could tell me that will make me say, man, I'm disappointed. I'm surprised. It's not gonna happen. So that means, bro, you capable of doing anything. I don't think there's nobody who would say, nah, P. Diddy didn't do that. Because they talking about you might have killed your mother or your kids. You might have had something to do with that.
Sure.
You know
Sure.
what I'm saying?
Sure.
You dating this other young lady, and you hiring men to come and have sex with her while you watch, and they sodomize her and they do all these kind of things. So it's nothing for me to say, man, yeah, he probably did do it. It's just so much to us where, bro, you already, and they say you innocent till proven guilty. Bro, you pretty much guilty. Now you got to find a way to be innocent.
Hey, I don't mean to pardon DA, but I got my guy, man, who I just got through talking about. I showed y'all the picture of Gene Deal. I got my man, my boy, my brother, Willie Drake. He is live in the chat with us, man. He jumped on here this evening. What's up, Drake? Look here, man. I don't know what your take is on this P. Diddy raid at his house. I was showing a video earlier of your brother, Gene, come in, and I was letting the people know, man, that that's your brother, and he's the ex-bodyguard for P. Diddy, man. So if you got any comments, man, put them in the chat, man. I'm gonna read them out and post them up, man. But give me any insights that you may have to your knowledge, or if you talked to Gene off the air recently. We'd love to hear from you, my brother. So yeah, DA, you're right about that, man. There are certain characteristics about an individual where you can feel comfortable to say, you know what, I can vouch for that person. Maybe he had a little bit of an aberration over here, because no one is perfect, even in business, right? Mistakes are made a lot of times, and then there may be some stuff that you made because of the ignorance aspect of it. But unfortunately, they tell you what, ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Nope.
And the reason why they're saying that it's not an excuse is because of the fact that because the United States is an incorporation, the American people are shareholders. So every shareholder is supposed to know what's going on. That's the reason why they gave you a contract. They gave you a contract that's called the United States Constitution. That is your contract. And you have to understand your amendments and your rights in this country if you are a so-called American citizen or whatever you identify as. You have you're on the soil in this country, in North America. If you don't know what the United States Constitution is about, it's a social compact. It's a contract of 55 white men who went into a room and began to hammer out how they was going to divide up the United States. You understand? With certain rights that were supposed to be endowed upon our people, because they said that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal and they're endowed with certain unalienable rights, meaning they cannot be transferred. These rights are bestowed upon you by the Creator, the Most High God. So they can't take these rights away unless you voluntarily give them these rights. And that's what they've done through all subjects because of the 14th Amendment, which is all walks of life. So that's how they have subjugated the American people. Now, having said all of that, we still have to review the contract and understand what our rights are. So you go get these attorneys. Hey, Daryl, listen, man, I'm telling you, I tell people all the time, you may be talking about an attorney. You may say attorney, you may say counsel, you may say barrister, right? And you may simultaneously think that all of them means the same, but they have different terms. All you got to do is look up the Latin words for these terms that they use. And I'm telling you right now, their job is really it's as they say, it's not what you get, it's what you negotiate with the federal system. You understand? It's what you negotiate. You could be dead, because everything they do is not right? But it's all about negotiating. And you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. That's how it goes in this capitalism, man, in this federal system. And these attorneys, this word attorney comes from the Latin word attorn, A-T-T-O-R-N, and it means to turn over. That's what it means. Yeah, you can go to trial, but they got a 97% conviction rate, right? Yeah. Now, why do they give themselves 97% and not 100%? They only allow 3 to 5%, maybe 95, 97% conviction rate, but only allow 3 to 5% of individuals to beat the case. Like in the case of Gotti and them, right? That was just a setup because they really wanted Supreme that did too much in the streets, much in the streets with bodies and everything. But that was just a setup. Okay, we'll let him go. We'll let them go because we really want this individual because because of the nature of the crime, so to speak. But they give themselves a 95 to 97% conviction rate simply because if they gave themselves 100%, that means the American people would know that there's some fraud going on. Yeah. Because nobody can give themselves 100% of anything. You understand? So this is what Diddy is facing. This is what he has to understand with these so-called, $500 an hour attorneys. You better make sure, man, because it's not like the states and stuff like that, because the states really get their money trickled down from the feds anyway. That's the reason why a lot of the cases that go to the federal system used to be state cases, like these gun charges and stuff. Those were state cases, but they don't have the money. And then the feds say, well, let us pick them up because all we're going to do is write bonds anyway. We're going to write bonds in their names and we're going to trade in their name. Mm-hmm. So while we incarcerate them, we're going to take these bonds and we're going to spread them all around the world under the TBA, the bond market. Yeah. So this is what's really going on. Diddy can go in there and plead his case in a civil matter because there's no bodies, but ain't no attorney going to tell him that because why? He's an agent of the court himself. Right. They may let you rock the boat, but you can't flip the damn boat over. Right. Understand that. Remember he's had that song.
All that attorney was saying is just like blah blah blah. You doing that for Diddy? We don't care about it. Right. You doing that for Diddy?
He said those buzzwords.
Yeah.
Even before he said that, DA. Even before he said it,
I saw the same thing when it came to
the same thing. Witch hunt. Yeah. That's all. They say the same thing. It's a witch hunt.
You could take that directly from a Donald Trump statement when they raided Mar-a-Lago. Same words, same everything. Witch hunt, excessive. I mean, I'm saying it wasn't that excessive, but I've heard all of that in the last, year when it comes to Trump. All that just put together.
Let me read out what my boy Willie Drake put up there in the comments. He said, actually, I haven't talked to my brother lately, and I really don't like to talk to him about all that stuff. He understands that I don't like to hear about it. I don't blame him.
That let you know right there.
Yeah. Well, I know from talking off the air at times with Drake, I know why, because he have heard about so much over the years. Even you talk about from Tupac to DMX to you name it. So that's the reason why he's saying what he's saying, because Gene been there for a long time, man. Like I said, I met the brother, man, through Willie going to St. Louis way back, and that was over 20 years ago. Just about. So I get it, man. In this type of situation, again, I caution people to do your own vetting, do your own self vetting, vet your own process, man, and don't be too quick to rush to judgment, no matter how you feel about Diddy, no matter how you feel, simply because you have to have a certain level of God consciousness. Understand that this world is fleeting. It's fleeting. If you gave a man 100 years, think about this for a second. If you gave him 100 years, he's still not going to miss his day, his appointed turn to go back to his creator. You understand? Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, died at early 40s, man, 42 or what have you. You understand? Diddy is in his 50s. So there are people who don't even get a chance to live a full life. And then there are others who live a life, even though you may say it was a short life, he reached his full measure in the life. So he's lived a life at 40 years old as more so than a person who may have lived 80 years and never accomplished anything. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at Diddy, my thing for Diddy is simply this. Bruh, like they say, doing jury selection and vote out, they always say, well, you, DA, you. Diddy, you know what you've done, you know what you haven't done. And believe me, nothing goes, it doesn't go unrecorded. Yeah. God and his angels who record, we call them the Kiddy Kitabin. The Kiddy Kitabin are the angels who record everything we say and everything we do. Nothing, not a blemish, is not going to go unnoticed by the Most High God. So what I would suggest with him, if it doesn't work out in his favor, man, it's time to get your soul right, brother. Because you live a life that most people won't ever live if they live to be 100.
Right.
So I think now this is a spiritual journey for him.
Yeah.
Trust and believe me, it is
I
a
agree.
spiritual journey, brother. It's a spiritual journey. So again, man, I wanted to talk about this because this is the hottest thing that's pretty much going on now, man. And everybody got something to say about the interview. Fat Joe, I like his position that he took. He said, "Man, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. I don't have nothing to report. I don't have nothing." He said, "All I can do is pray for him and his family." They talked to Luke Skywalker, or Uncle Luke, or however you want to call it, and he had some things to say, and everybody got something to say. But when I take the road like you, though, Da. I'm not going to give him a hell to put him in because I don't have one. The hell to put him in or a paradise to place him in. All I can do is sit back and observe, comment about what I don't like. I don't like all the tactical force that they use, bringing trucks and all this. Come on, man, that's overkill. That's overkill. I really, but again, I understand it. I understand exactly what's going on and what they're doing. So I don't know if you have anything else you want to say on that, man, because we can say
I'm pretty much wrapped it up right there.
Okay, then. Well, like I say, man, we'll keep on standby, man, and see what's going to happen, how this going to evolve, and other names that could be mentioned that comes out of that. But whatever happens, man, we're gonna keep looking up to the Most High God, man, and know that His plan is His ultimate plan. Is justified, and He never makes any mistakes, man. He just got to be able to have the right disposition and look at his situation for what it is, and how do I get better after this? And we all need to be learning from a situation like this. So again, charity starts at home and then it spreads abroad. So we're gonna segue, man, into this next topic that I want to talk about, dealing with my guy Steph Curry. Steph Curry, Golden State Warriors, man, they played last night. They beat Minnesota, but once again, your guy Draymond Green was ejected. Now, many believe that Draymond Green should not have been, ejected from the game. I may be one of those individuals. I don't know what the word, but what was actually said. But you're talking 4 minutes into the first quarter, so man, this is such a dichotomy. And I get it. If you want to say, hey, man, it's a 50-50 thing. Why even put yourself, or why do you have to be the enforcer, knowing what the history is? Why couldn't that be anybody else? But when you look at it, who else is going to step up? Because that's really not Kerry's never been that dude, that alpha male like that. So once again, this is what happened yesterday.
And be available. That's what's got to happen. Especially at this point in the year. So it's a tough way to start the game, but I am extremely proud of every single person that stepped foot on the floor tonight and responded the way that they did. We know how important the season is, this part of the season is, and our ability to get into a rhythm and secure a playing opportunity and give ourselves a shot. We don't want to have self-inflicted wounds when it comes to that.
Well, you hear, I'm gonna let you go on this DA first, because you can see Steph's disposition, man. He using words like self-inflicted wounds. I saw him kicking Charles, man. I don't know if I've seen, Steph that upset to where he started kicking.
And
Charles.
they won.
And they won the game. Yeah. So what's your take on it, man? I mean, is this just gonna be one thing they got to just suck it up for the rest of this season, or do you think it's gonna be costly in the future?
I don't think, to be totally honest, he should have been. There were some games right after the indefinite suspension where it seems like, because I've been watching it pretty closely. There were some games after the indefinite suspension where it seemed like they were being very lenient on Draymond. They literally, not literally, but they really tiptoed around throwing him out, calling text, because when he came back from that suspension, I was watching like, okay, man, how are you gonna conduct yourself now? He didn't really change. He was still, over the top, belligerent. He just choked Whatchamacallit the other night, clothesline, the guy who used to play with Chicago, clothesline him. I don't know if he got a tech for it or not, but I think Draymond has a mental issue, Jabril, and when we can't fix it, the NBA can't fix it because he doesn't know how to reel it in. He doesn't know how to say what he has to say and then just turn around and go play basketball. And you said you didn't think he should have been suspended, but his coach said he deserved it. You never heard Steph say he didn't deserve to be kicked out. Steph was like, man, we
That he should have been kicked out last night game.
Yeah, Steve Kerr said it in the post game interview. He said, he said he deserved it, and you noticed, Steph never said he shouldn't have been thrown out. He shouldn't have gotten a text. Steph said he knows we need him right now. He knows we can't. You know what I mean? So whatever he was saying was probably justified. He got the first one for putting his arms on the ref. That's what he got the first tech for. I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, you can't touch a referee, but he touched the ref. That's how he got the first tech. And they said he was still probably angry about a foul he didn't get before that. But then after the other guy, his teammate got a foul called on him, that's when he came back and started just going in on the ref about the call that he didn't get after he had already touched the ref and got a tech. So they said that his coach came out and said, yeah,
I saw Gilbert Arenas and I think Keyshawn Johnson, they was coming on it, and this was all I was able to see. Let me see if I can get the last little part of it.
We all care. We all are passionate about the game and our chances to have something to play for down the stretch. So give everything you got to this game. And that's the emotion.
Steph was frustrated, man. You should have saw the other cut where they asked him at the podium. I think he was at the podium before he got dressed. They was like, man, it's something that it shouldn't have happened. He knows we need him. Look how frustrated Steph is right there. He's like, he want to say, man, why don't you just be quiet? But that's been the problem. Nobody has said Steph. I think Steph it would go a long way if Steph would have said, hey, man, like at those moments, say,
right.
Bro, chill, go sit down. He would respect Steph. He would never, I don't think he would ever disrespect Steph if Steph just won't say anything. And I heard Tim Legler talk about it this morning. They were saying, usually on teams, you might have a player that's out of control sometimes or gets too emotional, and you have that player on the team that can go to that player and say, hey, man, you need to chill out. Or in the locker room, bro, we can't have you doing this. But they say in this situation, he's the dude he's supposed to be that dude, but he's the one with the problem. So he can't fix himself because he's the one that needs that talk or that big brother to come to his rescue.
Right.
I think Steve Kerr is tired of him, Jabril. He's just nothing he can do. He has to coach him because in the NBA, it's about money. It's about contracts. They don't care what Steve Kerr thinks about Draymond. If he's on that team and they paying him and they like, hey, man, we need him. Steve Kerr can't bench him. He can't say, man, look, I ain't going to coach this dude no more. He just can't say it. Right. So I think Steph could have curtailed it, but Draymond is never going to be. He's got a switch. And Draymond said it himself, Jabril. He's like, man, that just can't happen. He said, I said a little too much. I said something before I went to the bench. I should have just turned and went to the bench and then said what I needed to say. He said, I said that. And then he said, I just said it too. He admitted that whatever he said was across the line. He kept saying, I can't do that. But that's something we've heard 20 times before.
Yeah, man. That's kind of like the boy that's calling, keeps crying for wolf, and you keep saying it over and over and over, but you find yourself in these situations.
Yeah.
And to me,
you can't help it though.
That is insanity. And I don't know, he's up there in around, I guess, early 30s now, 35, 36, somewhere in mid 30s. And I don't know how long do you continue to accept such behavior when your teammates are dependent on you. And again, I understand that he's been conditioned to be this enforcer, if you will, because when you look at the team, once again, if he don't, then who will, right? That kind of mentality. But
but it does you no good if you don't have him.
Yeah, exactly. But now some of that, I think, some of the teammates need to. Who's going to step up? Everybody need to look in the mirror. Now, when Iguodala was there, you could say Iguodala was one of the individuals who would step up and may say certain things or what have you. But Draymond, man, he has to be accountable, man. He has to be there for his teammates. And I just don't see them really going forward after this year. I mean, it may not be nothing to do with nothing, and maybe they do, but they got to get younger anyway, man. But they got to find another individual. Maybe if they'd have kept a DeMarcus Cousins. I know he kind of temperamental too, but they need somebody, man, that he can respect, who has wisdom to the game, that can help him settle his emotions down when it's crucial like that. So to get tossed out of the game in the first quarter, man, that's crazy.
I don't think he will allow another player to come in and be the big dog, no matter who it is. He ain't gonna allow it. He's gonna always think that
he's gonna become more of a distraction. Yeah, I can see that too. You think that you helping the situation, but you just adding logs to a fire. Yeah, I can certainly see that too, man. But I'm hoping that
they can't fix it, Jabril. They're gonna have to just make a decision after this year, because it's his mentality. It's nothing you can do when somebody has a glitch. It's medicine. When they got a glitch like that, it's either gonna be medicine or a whole bunch of prayer and change it. You know what I mean? And they just ain't in the business of doing that.
He might have to check that. He's had that water problem out there in Saginaw, Michigan, and he up from that weight, man. They might have to check the water, man. Like
and he's always apologizing for it. It's like that like they say those abusive guys who beat the women and then take them flowers the next day.
Right.
That's what Draymond does.
Alexa Guerra had the saying years ago, but don't drink the water. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But it seemed like it's something at least in his biological water system, whatever he's putting inside of him, because he keeps running into these problems year in and year out, man.
Yeah.
They say he has the highest. No one has been. I think he says no one has been kicked out of a game. I think twice in the first half. He's like the first one.
Really?
Yeah, they was talking about something to that extent. But whatever it was, when I saw Steph Curry, man, kicking chairs and whatever the case may be, something that you never see.
Yeah.
That means it has
after a win.
After a win. And you know something? I'm gonna tell you something, and we'll segue into this other part of the show. When you see someone like Steph Curry doing that, you can best believe management is taking notes. So I think they're gonna move him out this season, man. I just think they're gonna move him. But again, in that one of the proverbs that say you can run from that you may run from that's chasing you, but you cannot run from that dwells within you. So wherever he goes,
he'll be there.
He'll still be that same individual. So yeah, you're right, man. So let's segue over to what we got to talk about. It started today, man. The Sweet 16, March Madness. DA, I don't know what happened to you, man. I don't know if you didn't want to compare notes or whatever the case may be, man. I had all these games beautifully picked out. You put me out there on Facebook.
I sure did. I can't get no picks. I can't get nobody picks. I gotta hear after the game. Oh, yeah, I had them. Yeah, I had them. Yeah, I had them too. DA.
I read it later on. I said to myself, I said, what is he talking about? I'm sending you to my team I picked even before the game started. But anyway,
I don't remember.
That was funny, man, when I saw it, man. And I was truthful because there was a couple of games, man, that I told you I had all Texas teams. I didn't come back and say
you love Texas. You bet Texas with your heart, no matter what.
Yeah, well, I think it was just the matchups. In some of those games. I wanted Baylor to definitely advance. I think they lost to Clemson, but I really hadn't seen Clemson play. So, maybe TCU was kind of waning a little bit.
They just upset Arizona, man.
They just beat Arizona. Okay, well let's see what because this is the men that we're talking about.
And I had Arizona going to the championship.
So do you still? Okay, but you still got Connecticut coming out of your Big Four, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. They blew
Okay.
out let me see, who did they play? I was just watching it too. But it was a blowout, so I didn't stay on the channel.
Oh, you talking which
San
team?
Diego State. That's
Yeah,
San
San
Diego.
Diego State and UConn. Yeah.
Yeah, they played in the championship last year.
San Diego State did.
Yeah, and UConn. This was a championship rematch.
Wow. Well, that game
So right now it's
going on.
that they blew out San Diego State.
So let me ask you this, because it's only Sweet 16. So let me ask this right quick, because you have San Diego State is playing UConn. Then you had Alabama, North Carolina, Illinois,
That's on
Iowa
now.
State.
That's halftime.
Okay, that's a halftime game. Okay, so this is what I had: UConn, North Carolina, and Illinois. Who did you have in those games?
I had UConn, Illinois, North Carolina, and I had Arizona, but Arizona lost.
Okay, and I would have Arizona too. So Arizona lost. Okay.
And then on that other side, it's Houston versus Duke.
Right. I'm taking Houston.
NC State, Marquette.
NC State. I'm taking NC State.
I got NC State, and I'm going with Duke for the upset. I got Duke. I got Duke, NC State, and then we got Purdue and Gonzaga.
That's gonna be a good one. But I'm gonna go with Purdue on that.
I'm gonna go with Purdue because that big lurch, that big lurch they got.
Yeah. And I think you got Creighton in Tennessee. I'm gonna take Tennessee.
I'll go with Creighton for the upset.
I'll go with Creighton. That is. You going Creighton? Okay. You going Creighton?
Yeah.
Okay.
And oh yeah, that's so we got this game right here, and then there's one more that's about to kick off pretty soon.
Well, let's flip over to the women's side right now, because they got the Sweet 16. So they playing tomorrow and Saturday. So you got Notre Dame and Oregon. I'm taking Notre Dame. South Carolina, Indiana. Of course, you know I'm taking South Carolina. Then you have Stanford and North Carolina State. I'm taking, that's going to be a good one. I would say State, but I'm going to go with Stanford. And then you got Texas and Gonzaga. I got to go with Texas, man. Nisa Muhammad out of DeSoto High School. Oh, man. That's a little niece right there. I got to go with the
same so far, but I got Oregon at first.
You got Oregon? Okay. So you like Indiana against South Carolina?
Come on, man. You always trying to get me on tape like that. I'm listening. I'm paying attention. Don't even talk.
I thought you.
I ain't got nobody over South Carolina. How's that?
I thought you were gonna go against Don Staley, man.
Man, why would I?
I try to say it fast, man. All right, well, you got South Carolina. Okay, you got NC State, Stanford. Who you like?
I like Stanford.
All right, we both got. And what about Texas and Gonzaga?
Texas.
Okay, and then you have that next game. Let's see.
Iowa and somebody in LSU. That the bracket.
Yeah, Iowa and Colorado. So I'm gonna take Iowa. You know that. Wait a minute, because I seen Colorado early. They knocked off LSU early, man. That ain't gonna be no easy game. And I know they're gonna be rooting for Caitlin Clark, man. But
man, I don't like the officiating when their team plays. I just don't. That's the only reason I don't bet against them.
She does a whole lot of flopping too. I just noticed they had the video out on.
That's the only reason I don't bet against them, Jabril. Not because they can't be beat, is because they always have a little help.
They promote them. So you're gonna take Iowa then?
Yeah.
You know what, man? I would go with Iowa, man, but I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with Colorado just because I seen them play early. They got I cannot think of her name, the little young guard, man, with the dreads. She be balling, man. I'm gonna go with Colorado on the upset. I don't really see it happening, but I'm just gonna be opposite of you.
Yeah.
Then you got UCLA and LSU.
Oh, I'll be pulling for them.
You gonna take LSU?
Yeah, I got LSU.
Okay, I got LSU on that one too. Let's see. My deal is not going on. Let's see. You got the other two on that game?
That's it, ain't it? That ain't it.
It's two. It should be two more. Or did I already say it already? No, this is on Saturday's game.
I think you already called both sides.
No. Stay with me. You got USC and Baylor. That's Juju.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Juju and Baylor, man.
Got
Kim,
Juju.
I'm gonna take USC in that, man, too. And then you got UConn and Duke. I'm gonna take UConn. Go with Duke. You went with Duke, the men's.
Got Duke. Yeah.
Got Duke. I got him this time. I got him this time, y'all.
UConn. This ain't the old UConn. This is the new UConn. They can be beat any day.
For those of y'all that's joining us on the show, this is the replay where we try to make your day go. And please hit that subscribe, like, and share button for us. We're still growing the channel. We can't do this without you guys. So, DA, we're gonna come up, man. I think this is the last one.
Hold on, Jabril. I'm disappointed in you right now, but I'm about to set you straight. You ain't mentioned the Rangers opening night.
Oh, wait a minute. See, now, hey, drop down and give me 50. Drop down and give me 50 because I'm getting ready to get to the shots out. In fact, since you brought it up,
I ain't talking about no shout outs. I'm talking about this is opening.
Okay, check this out. Can I do this?
You can't shout nothing out. This is opening night. Texas Rangers. You ain't missed. Hold on, Jabril. You ain't mentioned them. First of all, the score is 3-3 in the bottom of the 10th. Rangers got a man on first and third with one out. I had to cut in just to set that up for you.
Okay. Hey.
Bottom of the 10th.
Okay. But this is what I was going to do. I appreciate that. But you said I hadn't mentioned them, but you cut me off. So if y'all don't mind, y'all make DA give y'all 25 to 50 push-ups on this because this is what I wanted to show you before you actually said what you said.
Hey. Another nice play by the Jungle Cat. And it really just
getting
ridiculous.
I give you 25.
Like I'm really just getting better and better.
I give you 25.
Better than ever. Let's go. Hey.
I give you 50 on that.
I had to, that's what I was getting to. I wanted to, but you brought us up on the score. This is opening day, man. And, go Rangers. We're going to definitely say go Rangers. But I am going to give a shout out before we
bases loaded, one out.
One out. We'll go Rangers. But before we close out, man, I got to give a shout out, man, to these guys right here, man. Before we close this last segment, I got to give a shout out to my
transition. They start the quarter. Turnover. Gafford.
Sacramento close in this game. They've been able to get on that offensive glass.
Irving getting the roll.
That speaks to what Coach Dudley was talking about, keeping them out of transition.
Irving slashing the triple. Irving getting by the defense and throwing it down. The Mavericks would move into 6th place and out of the play. Irving, outside look. Jones for 3.
Kind of what we talked about on the post.
Say Jabril.
Huh?
when your grandkids get of age, man, you can mute that TV one day and tell them that was you out there playing. They wouldn't know the difference. He said, "Look at you, check out your granddaddy when they about 4 or 5, when they can't really tell, can't read them names, tell them that was you."
Well, check this out, DA. That's the Dallas Mavericks. They won the last 9 out of 10 games. We talked about them before, man. The way these boys are playing, if they can just stay with the formula, man, they playing defense. I think we got the best. Some teams only have one closer. We got 2 closers. They cannot be stopped. They're gelling, man. They're playing with so much chemistry right now. Don't you know within the last 5 games, they've given up an average about 98 points. They held sack to 96 points. They gave up 105 on a back-to-back night. They gave up 97 to Utah. They played them the next night, gave up 105. And then they gave up, they beat Denver 107 to 105. So when you think about that in today's game, you remember how back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, you may hold a team to maybe 70, 80. It was good for them. They saying now 100 is the new defense standard. Yeah. So the Mavericks within the last 7, 8 games have really been, paying more attention to detail on the defensive end. I think if they continue to do that, DA, hey, man, they should be in the Western Conference Final because I don't see nobody where they playing right now. They are the hottest team in the NBA. But you say what?
Man, when they first made that trade, I gave that trade an A.
Yeah, I think we all did.
A lot of experts were like, "Oh, that's
Nico Harris, man."
I said, "Man, they needed those 2 guys. That's what they that team needed to make them look like a real team now."
Yeah, Gafford and Lively. Yeah, Gafford, Lively, and Jones and those boys, man. They, he's a high flyer himself. He plays above the rim. They got
And
so much depth. And
yeah,
you got
I told
PJ Washington.
Yeah, PJ Washington. And I mentioned on the show that they were gonna climb up to at least that 6th seed, and that's exactly where they're sitting right now, in the 6th seed.
Man, he's sitting in 6th place right now, and they saying they may even get that 5. You got about 10, 11 games left, so they got to play Sacramento again this Friday. Tomorrow, I'm quite sure Sacramento will give a better showing. But I think if they go in with the same mindset, it'll be just like Utah, man. They'll win that back-to-back against them. I got for a guy who don't even have a team, man. He telling me Willie Drake. He telling me no, don't do that. Talking about stop it, man. You guys are not baseball men, all this other stuff. I'll tell you the truth.
We baseball men.
First of all, he thinks St. Louis Cardinals is just like the cream de la cream above all teams. That's first of all. Then secondly, for a person who don't even have an NBA team, I don't even know why he got to run all across the country. He got to run all the country. He's an Eagles fan. DA, listen, he's an Eagles fan, but he lives in St. Louis. And his basketball team, I don't even know who his basketball team. And listen, and the crazy thing is, he used to live in Dallas. So you would think after hanging with his boy, us going to some games, he would have been a Mavericks fan. But I guess it's all in the name of hate.
You preaching to
my brother, man.
Hey, you're not preaching to the choir right now, Jabril, because I wasn't no Maverick fan until Kyrie came, and I'm roll with him with Philly. I'm outside of the Niners. I'm gonna roll with him on his Philly pick, but the Rangers are the champions, so ain't much he can say right now. He can just wait to see if St. Louis can get it this year. But right now, Rangers are the champ.
Rangers, man, we are the defending champions. I don't think it was a
bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 10th.
Well, we gonna take care of everything.
Oh, that's game.
That's game time.
That's game time.
Before we get off the air, man.
Game time. RBI single, game time, walk off single.
All right, man. Big shout out, man. Big shout out. Oh, there you go. That's team. Dre say St. Louis and the New York Knicks. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, he everywhere, ain't
he? He everywhere, man. He everywhere, man.
That's cool. I'm on the West Coast, so
that's
I'm good.
Stop, man.
But Jabril, let me give him a shout out, man.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. Shout out. Who you shouting out?
Gotta shout out my boy Spud Webb, man.
Oh, okay.
Took my boys out there. Took my boys out there to watch them Texas Legends, that Mavericks G League team. And you ever been, Jabril?
I haven't been to a game yet. I've been to the arena to see the big three, but I haven't actually been to a game yet.
Their last game is this week, man. We might ought to catch it. But yeah, man, it's like it's a family atmosphere. Like the game is going on, but they got all these activities going on both ends of the court, bounce houses, face painting, little kids just having fun, dribbling, playing. They got a lot of activities going on. So the boys enjoyed it, man. They got the VIP treatment in we weren't sitting in the suites, but we had access to the suite where you could go and eat as much as you want.
It's all right, man.
Oh my man, they enjoyed it. They did not want to leave. Then you get to go on the court after the game. So man, I wanted to make sure they can, like every year we take them out there for a game or two. I just wanted to make sure they get to see like something different. Like that's more than just the park. You know what I'm saying? It's more than just like, this is what you want to do. Here you go. You can do it.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Anthony Jerome Spud Webb. Y'all know him, man. Wilma Hutchins, great, man. Atlanta Hawks slam dunk champion 1986. Our boy, man. Big shout out to what he's doing over there at the Texas Legends. So, yeah, man, one day I got to get out there and definitely check him out, DA. Definitely got to do that. All right, well, guys, this is going to conclude another edition here, man, of the replay where we try to make your day again. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, like, and share button. And in the words of my boy, DA, the notification button too.
Yes.
DA, hit that notification button because we're still growing the channel. And also tell a friend, guys. We're going to continue to try to bring this content to you. We got a lot of things that we're working on putting these irons in the fire. We got a showcase coming up, man, with these kids on I Am Student Athlete, these high school students. These are the sophomore, juniors, and seniors. So we're working on that too, April 7th. in Houston, first of all, and then it's going to be, hopefully we got a target date, maybe May 18th. So I'll be, giving y'all more information about that soon enough. So again, this has been another wonderful evening. Thank you all for jumping on with us. I'm your host, Jabril Rashad, and there would be no us without you guys. Big shout out to my man, Tim Action Jackson. He'll be back with us next week. I know he has some prior engagements, and as well as my man, Book. He's helping the track team with those kids over there in DeSoto Nitro. Big shout out to them, man. And shout out to DeSoto High School too, man. That Atascocita team, I've been hearing a lot about them. They set a national record running the 39 and the 4x100 relay, but they both broke the national records. But Atascocita and DeSoto,
I thought it was Duncanville.
I'm not sure about Duncanville.
I thought it might have been Duncanville. I think broke that record.
I'll double check that. I think it's DeSoto and Atascocita. I know it's Atascocita definitely. But I want to give a shout out. If I did miss that, then big shout out to Duncanville as well. But I think it was DeSoto, but you can correct me on that. And last but not least, like I said, we're going to be back again on Monday, y'all. We're going to check out this March Madness this weekend, and we'll bring y'all some more fresh content. And like I said, always, y'all, when you're doing things in life, just look in your own backyard first before you judge anybody else, because God is forever watching. I always say on this show, man, always keep God first. And whatever you do, you can never go wrong. This has been the replay, y'all. God bless y'all. We'll see y'all again on Monday.